In this video, we'll ask whether or not the series that starts at n equal to 2 to infinity of log of n over n converges or diverges. One approach is to try the integral test, and to do so I'm going to take f of x to be the function that generates the terms of my series. So f of x will be log of x over x. If I plot that, you'll see some function that initially at x equal to 1 is 0 will rise for a little bit, but then will eventually start to decrease. So this function f is positive on the interval that I care about between 2 to infinity. It is continuous on that interval. And it's not quite decreasing on the interval, but it eventually starts to decrease. What happens initially in this first little region is not so important. It's what happens in the long run, and this function is eventually decreasing. So the integral test therefore applies, and we can test whether or not the integral converges. And so we'll look at the integral from 2 to infinity of my function log of x over x. If it converges, then my series converges. If it diverges, then my series diverges. This is best treated with a substitution, so I'm going to take u to be the log of x. Its derivative is 1 over x. When I carry out the substitution, then I'll be looking at the integral of u, and then the 1 over x gets swallowed up in the differential du. This is an improper integral from 2, so now the new one will start at log of 2. And as x becomes large, the logarithm will go to infinity as well, so we'll be integrating from log of 2 to infinity. As an improper integral, it's a limit. I'm going to let b go to infinity and go from log of 2 to b, and we're going to integrate u du. We take the limit, find an antiderivative. That power of u now becomes u squared over 2, and we evaluate between log of 2 and b. Evaluating, I'll plug in b for u, and I'll have b squared over 2, and then we'll evaluate at log of 2. Not so important what that value is, because as b becomes large, this term will grow quadratically. B squared will go to infinity. And therefore, this integral diverges. And by the integral test, the corresponding series that I'm looking at also must diverge.